Welcome back to crochet class. So today we're working on reading the pattern, and then we're going to work on our single crochet and our increase, and you can do this. Let's go. Let's take a look at a pattern and talk about reading the pattern. There's a lot of abbreviations in crochet. We have 6 SC in MR, 6 ink, SC ink. What does that mean? Well, if you look in the front of your pattern, there should be a list of abbreviations used. And you want to make sure that you are checking which country's abbreviations you are using, because there is a difference. These are US terms. So we have 6 SC. If we look at the abbreviations, we see that SC means single crochet. So we've got 6 single crochets in an MR. And an MR is a magic ring or a magic circle. Ink is increase. Because this is a very basic pattern, that's all we'll need to know to do the first segment, and I'm going to teach you as we go. This line here, this can be in parentheses. I think it's usually in parentheses. I'm a big fan of these brackets. This bracket tells you your stitch count. That is how many stitches you should expect to be in your row by the time you get back to your stitch marker. I'm going to teach you how to count your stitches so you can see how many stitches you have done. And then here it says SC around. That just means you're going to do the single crochet in each available stitch, and that's why this stitch count doesn't change between these two lines. Now we are going to make the top of the mushroom. I'm using the Lily Sugar and Cream red, and I have just a random scrap of yarn that I'm going to use as my stitch marker. I have my Clover 3.5mm hook. And what I usually do when I'm following my pattern is I sit in front of my computer and I have my pattern up on the computer, and then I just highlight the lines as I go. My filming area is not in front of my computer, so I'm using this paper pattern, an index card that I'm going to use, so I can keep track of what line I need to be on. So we're going to begin with our magic ring, which luckily we have mastered from the previous video. So raise your hand if you mastered it. Good job. Wrap it around parallel, wrap it around crossing, and hold that under the first bar, over the second, and pull it through this gap. Wrap it around, pull it through one more time, pinch, and straighten this out. Now we're going to do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you need that more in depth, you can go back and look at last week's video where we went through this a little bit slower. Now I'm going to pull this. I'm not going to pull it all the way tight yet. I'm going to take a scrap piece of yarn and tuck it in here, so between where my hook is and the first stitch that we made. Now I can pull this a little bit tighter, but we don't want it too tight yet because it's just going to make it harder to go into our stitch. Now we are going to do 6 increases all the way around. And an increase is just a single crochet 2 times in the same hole. So the hole is right underneath this first V. If we look on top, we can see that we have a V. That makes a V here. So we're going to go under that front bar and the back bar. We've got our V. We're going to yarn over, pull that through, and now we have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn it over. So we're wrapping the yarn around the hook. When I say yarn over, I mean wrap the yarn around your hook. So you go from back to the front, and then you can twist it to keep the yarn in the hook, pull it through both holes, so we just have the one on the hook. Now we can go ahead and tighten this up a little bit more. Now that was a single crochet, but we want an increase, so we're going back into that same hole, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through. So now we have an increase because we have 2 single crochets in the same hole. We're going to do that again all the way around. So yarn over and pull through, single crochet, increase. No. Now, because this is cotton, sometimes it can kind of split, so you can get like half of the yarn. If you see that in time, just undo it and redo it. Cotton is especially bad for that. Okay, I'm back at my stitch marker, so now I can count the V's. We have 1, 2. This first V is a little bit wonky, but we'll tighten it up as we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Now I'm going to take my stitch marker, remember this random piece of yarn, and just tuck it over. So we're taking, it was in the back, now I'm moving it to the front. And now I'm going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. And we're repeating that pattern all the way around. So single crochet again is we're going under these 2 bars, wrapping the yarn around the hook, pulling it through. Ooh, it split, but I fixed it. So now we have 1, 2 on the hook, wrap around, so yarn over, pull it through. That was 1, and we're done because it's single crochet. And now we have SC around, single crochet around, and that is exactly what it sounds like. All we're going to do is we're just going to put a single crochet in each of our stitches until we are back to where we started. I'm pushing my hook through with this hand, and then this hand is sweeping the yarn over. This hand is also keeping the yarn tension. So it's not super loose, but it's not too tight. So you're just keeping it a bit taut. Now we have 2 single crochets and an increase 6 times. So I like to, in my head, say 1, 2, increase, to help me keep track of what I'm doing. 1, 2, increase. So we finish right where it says that we should have. So that's good. It means that our stitch count is good. Now we have SC around for 2 rounds. I have these pattern weights. These are just a bunch, like 4 washers that I crocheted around to make some pattern weights, and I am going to use these as my countables. So I need to do 2 rounds. I have 2 pattern weights on my index card, and so I'm going to crochet all the way around. And we're back at the stitch marker, so I'm going to move my stitch marker to the other side and take one of my pattern weights and put it back. So now I just have 1 round left to go. Alright, we're back to the stitch marker. I'm going to put our countable away, and now we are out of countables, so we are done with these 2 rounds. And now we have 3 increase, so we'll do that. And we're going to carry on with this until we are back to our stitch marker. Oh no! I have a problem where I tend to come out of my loop a lot. That's fine, just put it back in and carry on. So that is my last increase. I'm going to move my stitch marker over, and then we have another 2 rounds where we're just going to do a single crochet around. For round 11, don't be scared. We have two single crochet, increase, 4 single crochet, increase, times 5, 2 single crochet. This is really just 4 single crochet, increase 6 times, but we don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, because then every time we increase, it'll be obvious where that line is. So if we look at this bird, when I made this, I decided not to space out my increases to make it round. And you can see that it has lines here where the increases all line up, but it wouldn't look as organic for a mushroom top. So because of that, we want to split up our first set of 4. So we're going to have 2 on this side and 2 on this side. So to do this, I count out the first 2. 1, 2, increase, and then we're just going to do 4 increase all the way around until we get back. Then we should have 2 left. A lot of patterns don't do it this way. They would write this instead in the brackets 2 increase 2 times 6. But my brain always has to translate that into, okay, so we're doing 4. So when I write my patterns, I write it so I don't have to translate it. But yeah, these look maybe more intimidating than previous rounds, but they are the same thing. Okay, so now I've done 4 single crochet, 1 increase, 5 times around, and I have 2 left. Single, single, which is perfect. Now our next row is 5 single crochets, 1 increase. Now we're going to single crochet around for 3 rounds. So I have 1, 2, 3. And now we're at our final round. So we're doing 6 single crochets and an increase. Okay, we've finished our line, and now we are going to do a slip stitch. So we're just yarning over, pulling it through both. And now we can leave a good amount of yarn. We're going to just pull it all the way through. And we can get rid of our stitch marker by pulling it out. So now the top is done, and we can sew on the dots. But I think I'm going to cover that in another video. So that's it for this week, and then next week we'll be making the stem of the mushroom. Great work today. Next week we are going to be learning back loop only and front loop only stitches, as well as the invisible decrease. See you next time. Bye!